guys, so in the previous video we discussed that how we can make a view scrollable, and also we discussed a bunch of other things. So let's continue. So before we learn any other concept, let's try to make this UI a little more nice, and we can add a bunch of more properties, right? So in order to change the aesthetics, we have to change the aesthetics of the anime component, because that is the main thing which we are showing, right? So now we can see that there is a huge gap, right? What if we want to fill the whole thing? So what we can do is, first and foremost thing, let's remove the padding. Later we'll give some padding. Okay, now we have removed the padding, but I want this image to take the whole width, right? And I also want to keep it square only. I want it to be a square. So a thing can be square if both its width and height are same, right? So if I say 100% is the width, then how do I get to know how much percentage of height will be equal to the 100% of width? So in order to tackle such things, what we can do is we can say 100%, and instead of using height, there is one more property called as aspect ratio. So if I say aspect ratio is 1 and the width is 100%, then by default height becomes 100%. So as you can see, now this and this size, they both are same. And the way aspect ratio basically works is it's a ratio between height and width, right? So if height and W is aspect ratio, let me comment out, else it will. Yeah, so it's the ratio between height and width, right? And if you call aspect ratio as AR, and in our case, if AR is 1 and our height is unknown and 100% is the width, so this 100% under the hood of width will eventually get converted into pixels. So let's say this results to 300 pixel. So since if you apply a basic arithmetic, if this 100% is 300 pixel, so then height becomes 300, right? And that's why we are able to achieve the square shape. Okay, so now we have this thing. What else we want? We want some spacing between these two components, right? So what we can do is, in the topmost parent component, which has the styles container, we can apply a margin bottom, and this margin bottom we can give, let's say, 20 pixels. So now we can see that there is some spacing between each anime, right? Now what else we can do is we can make these corners little rounded. So in order to do that, we can say that border radius is 20 pixel, and there is an unexpected token, we'll remove that. Okay, but we can see that what's happening, these things got rounded, but still the image didn't get rounded. So this container's border actually got rounded, but this image is not getting rounded. So because of that, you are not able to see that this thing getting rounded. So what we can say is overflow, and we'll say hidden. So the moment we do that, you can see the difference, right? The moment we do that, the top border also gets rounded, right? So now it's looking pretty decent. What else we can do is, if we come to the app component and synopsis, if we add a prop called a synopsis, which doesn't exist, but we will add it. And if you say item.synopsis, we get a synopsis of that anime, right? So in order to access that, let's first update our TypeScript file, and we'll say it's a string. Now we can access the synopsis here, and we can use a text component to render that synopsis. So when we do that, you can see that now we have synopsis as well, right? Now the issue with synopsis is that some of the components, right, some of the animes have short synopsis, some of them have big synopsis, right? So this is now creating a problem that some of our anime component is looking bigger, some of them is looking smaller. So there's a prop called as number of lines. So we'll say number of lines is 5. The moment we do that, you can immediately see what happens. We are getting something called as ellipses, right? So it's saying that, okay, there are 5 lines which you can read, but there are more lines to continue with, right? So let's give little more styling, and so we'll say styles.synopsis, and we'll give a style. We'll say font size is 14 pixel, font weight is 400, and color is black. Okay, that's great. Now what I want is, if you see that now it's touching the border, right? So we should give some space so that it can breathe. So what we'll do is, we will wrap our both of our text in a view, and we'll say style is equal to styles dot text container, because it contains our text, right? What we'll do is, we'll give some padding to this, and we'll give a padding of 20 pixels. Yeah, so that looks now even great, right? Now see, the reason why we give padding to this view container, because we want our image to take the whole width and height. So if we would have given the padding which we gave in the previous video to the container, then it will give padding to the image as well, right? So we don't want that. So that's how you can tweak the UIs. What else we can do is, the space looks just way too much. So what we can do is, we can reduce the space, and we can say it's 10 pixel. And what else we can do is, we can give some spacing between these two. So we'll say title has a margin bottom of 10 pixel. So there's spacing between these two, right? Now if you see, our UI already started looking way much better, right? So now we have this card kind of thing, where we have the anime's poster, then the title of the anime, then the synopsis, right? Now what if I don't want to put the dots in the end, but rather I want to put it in the middle? What I can do is, I can say ellipse mode as middle. If I do that, we must be able to see some dots in between. Okay, it's not coming, but no worries, let's keep it as default. Now what if someone wants to get detail about a specific anime? So this is a typical pattern which we see in all the applications, right? So for example, a food delivery application, on the home page, on the home screen, you see the list of restaurants. Now when you click an individual restaurant, then you see the details about that restaurant, like what is available, what you can order, what are special things, photos, and all those things. So something similar we'll try to achieve in the next video. Thank you.